Did you know Scarlett Johansson, now Hollywood's highest paid actress earning $35 million per role, struggled in her early career? She was rejected from acting school, lost roles to Lindsay Lohan and Kirsten Dunst, and her early films flopped despite featuring major stars. After facing such setbacks, how did Scarlett rise to become a box office powerhouse before Marvel catapulted her to global fame? Was it luck, strategic role choices, or undeniable talent? Watch till the end to find out. It's Hollywood lore time. Let's go. Scarlett Johansson started acting as a child, and her debut was North, Bruce Willis's biggest failure of the first half of the 90s. The movie bombed so hard that if anyone mentions it today, it's usually due to a bunch of Golden Raspberry nominations and John McClane as a pink rodent. Johansson's second big film was Sean Connery's Just Cause, and guess what? It barely made a profit too. After that, the actress appeared in the third part of Home Alone, which was such a faceplant that the franchise retreated to straight-to-DVD territory. Johansson even tried to sink Jumanji, but the movie makers wanted the movie to succeed, so they cast Kirsten Dunst instead. When it seemed like Scarlett's Hollywood story might finish without even starting, The Horse Whisperer with Brad Pitt's unnamed dad happened. An amazing combination of factors took place that caused Scarlett to get the role in this one. First, Natalie Portman turned it down, and actor, director, and producer Redford put his eye on Kate Bosworth. Kate convinced him to cast her in a different part though, where she could show off her horseback riding skills. Only after that, Redford invited Johansson. The movie earned $186 million on a budget of $60 and scored Oscar and Golden Globe nominations. In 2001, Scarlett got into the next significant project, Ghost World. Once again, Old Lady Fate stepped in. Christina Ricci refused the role right before the start, and they urgently began to look for some actress who could start filming the next day. Johansson turned out to be such a gem. Though the movie only made $9 million, costing $7, it became a cult classic and received an Oscar nomination. That same year, Johansson got into the Coen brothers' The Man Who Wasn't There. It also flopped, but since it was the Coens' project, the critics were delighted and immediately labeled the entire cast of the movie incredibly talented, 17-year-old Scarlett included. Then came the actress's first real flop, a comedy-action B-movie, Eight-Legged Freaks. Critics were disgusted, audiences spat at it, and the studio lost money faster than they could say, let's make it a franchise. But this flop couldn't hurt Johansson, as she already got into 2 films, thanks to which her career received a considerable boost. For many people, the first time they noticed Scarlett Johansson was in The Girl with a Pearl Earring and Lost in Translation. For the first one, Kate Hudson ran away just a month prior to filming, leaving director Peter Weber to consider 150 other actresses before landing on Scarlett. She cosplayed the Dutch Mona Lisa with a jewelry upgrade. So Golden Globes and BAFTA nominations immediately appeared in her portfolio. The same nominations came to the actress for Lost in Translation of the same year, only this time the actress actually won a BAFTA mask for it. In this film, the situation was the opposite. Director Sofia Coppola knew exactly who she wanted, remembering Scarlett's raspy voice from the small film Manny and Lowe. Scarlett signed on almost immediately, unlike Bill Murray. Coppola had to chase him down like a bounty hunter to secure his involvement. Ironically enough, now Murray calls Lost in Translation the best movie of his career. With a tiny $4 million budget, the film raked in 118, received a ton of awards and nominations, and gave Coppola the credibility to get a $40 million budget for her next project, Marie Antoinette, which promptly flopped, pushing her back to smaller-scale films. Over the next couple of years, Scarlett mostly played supporting roles. Some, like The Perfect Score, flopped hard, while others, like In Good Company, did pretty well. But then came 2005 and 2006, which again took Johansson's career to the next level. The actress's filmography of those years could have been completely different, by the way. Scarlett was attached to Mission Impossible 3 and Superman Returns, but dodged both. The third mission had a chaotic production, cycling through directors faster than Tom Cruise cycles through his endless supply of unnecessary stunts. At one point, even David Fincher was supposed to direct, and you just know he'd have turned it into a dark psychological thriller about Ethan's PTSD or something. By the time the 10th director came on board, there was almost nothing left of Johansson's role, and the actress delted from the film. As for Superman Returns, she wasn't interested from the start, so that box office disaster happened to the already mentioned Kate Bosworth instead. Scarlett, meanwhile, failed with two other projects, Michael Bay's The Island and Brian De Palma's The Black Dahlia. There's an interesting rumor about The Island. Spielberg allegedly Jedi mind-tricked Michael Bay into dropping the Emerging Tripods project in favor of making The Island. This move cleared the way for Spielberg to focus on his own alien tripod invasion War of the Worlds without competition. Bay wasn't thrilled, especially when War of the Worlds crushed the box office while The Island flopped. So, to smooth the situation a bit, Spielberg handed Bay Transformers, which turned into a blockbuster franchise. If true, it's a masterclass in Hollywood strategy. Back to Scarlett. On the set of The Island, according to her, Scarlett was just done for, working 14 hours a day and receiving a head injury during filming. Perhaps this was the reason for the actress's desire to take off her bra in one of the scenes. She insisted that otherwise the sex scene would look ridiculous, but Bay ultimately decided that it would be too much for younger viewers. In The Black Dahlia, Scarlett appeared because of Josh Hartnett, with whom she was dating back then. Hartnett collected flops in those years, and this film was no exception. It scraped together only $49 million on a budget of $50. At this point, Scarlett's career was dancing on the edge, but Woody Allen helped her, and she helped him. Match Point was another film that Johansson wasn't originally supposed to star in. It should have been Kate Winslet, but she backed out at the last minute to focus on her family. Then Allen turned to Johansson, whom he initially rejected because she was American. The movie did well, earning $85 million with a budget of $15 and earning a bunch of nominations, including a Golden Globe for Scarlett. Woody Allen liked Johansson so much that he immediately invited her to star in his next film, Scoop, alongside Hugh Jackman. This film also performed great at the box office, making $40 million on a budget of $4. As for Christopher Nolan's The Prestige, Scarlett's casting was a bit of an accident, or more specifically, a result of her boyfriend Josh Hartnett's miscalculation. The thing is that Hartnett was Nolan's first choice for Batman. Josh declined Nolan's Batman Begins, but was open to working on The Prestige. Nolan, unimpressed by Hartnett's pickiness, dropped him from the project, but cast Scarlett, who was dating Josh at the time, for one of the main roles. The Prestige wasn't a mega hit, pulling in $110 million on a budget of $40, but like most Nolan films, it gained major respect over time. The Prestige was followed by the quite successful The Nanny Diaries and the pseudo-historical drama The Other Boleyn Girl, where macho Eric Bana tries his best to portray Henry VIII, who, let us recall, looked like this. Then came another Woody Allen hit, Vicky Cristina Barcelona. For this one, Allen wrote the role specifically for Scarlett. The movie made $96 million, costing $16, a huge success for the typically commercially questionable Allen. Scarlett had become his golden ticket, delivering 3 box office hits in 4 years. The actress ended this impressive streak at the end of 2008 with the film The Spirit. Comic book artist and writer Frank Miller had great success with Sin City and 300 based on his work, so he decided to repeat it, only now as a director. Scarlett, likely intrigued by Miller's track record, signed on for a major role. The $60 million film was a complete failure, collecting only $39 at the box office. Still, Scarlett bounced back with He's Just Not That Into You, which performed well enough to cushion the blow. There was one major obstacle holding the actress back from A-list superstardom, however. She hadn't landed a massive blockbuster-level hit, but that was about to change. Johansson started to look for a hit at Marvel Studios, and she even agreed to slash her usual paycheck. After earning $2 million per movie on her previous projects, she took just $400,000 for Iron Man 2, following RDJ's footsteps, who only took $500,000 for the first one. And again, Scarlett wasn't the studio's first choice. Everyone wanted Emily Blunt instead, but Blunt had to pass due to her commitment to Gulliver's Travels. At the time, that project seemed like a safer bet. Back in 2010, comic book adaptations still looked like something suspicious. Just a year later, Rachel McAdams turned down a role in Iron Man, only to be super excited to join the franchise later in Doctor Strange. So Blunt's decision wasn't as shocking as it seems now. Scarlett, on the other hand, clung to the role with a death grip. She hit the gym hard, trained extensively, and even helped redesign Black Widow's costume since in the first versions she couldn't even walk normally. Even with improvements, she says the final outfit was still a pain in the butt, but at least it was functional enough for her to move. Iron Man 2 did great at the box office, and Scarlett's career leveled up. She went from earning $400K for that film to $4 million for We Bought a Zoo and $6 million for The Avengers. And as everyone knows, The Avengers obliterated the box office, pulling in $1.5 billion on a $220 million budget. Around this time, Scarlett almost ended up in a major flop, Total Recall. She was signed on but had to drop out due to scheduling conflicts with The Avengers, so Jessica Biel had to fail there instead of Scarlett. Not every opportunity worked out for Johansson though, no matter how much star power she had. Take The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, for example. After Natalie Portman turned down the role, Sony was desperate to convince David Fincher to cast Scarlett, and she wanted to be in the movie pretty badly. But Fincher rejected her, not because of her acting skills or something, but he feared that all media attention would focus on her nude scenes, which indeed happened 2 years later with Johansson's Under the Skin. After The Avengers, the actress received about 1 billion offers per second, but she smartly decided to stick to smaller, more personal projects for a couple of years. The results were mixed. Under the Skin bombed at the box office, despite the fact that Scarlett finally was allowed to appear naked on screen. Hitchcock wasn't much better, grossing just $27 million on a budget of $15. Her, where Scarlett voiced an AI, wasn't a financial hit either, but glowing reviews more than made up for it. On the other hand, Don John, a $3 million indie rom-com, crushed expectations, pulling in $40 million. Scarlett returned to big-budget films in 2014. That year, she starred in Lucy and Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Rumor has it that Luc Besson originally wanted Angelina Jolie for Lucy, but Jolie passed. Besson later claimed he only seriously considered Scarlett and one other actress who was not Jolie. It was probably Besson's ex-wife Mila Jovovich, but that's not certain. Lucy hit theaters the same day as Dwayne Johnson's Hercules, and Dwayne got smacked. Lucy earned $458 million worldwide, costing $40, and nearby, The Winter Soldier made $714 million globally. So by the time Avengers: Age of Ultron rolled around, Scarlett received a $20 million paycheck. The sequel collected a little less money at the box office than the first Avengers, but come on, we're talking about a box office of just a little less than $1.5 billion here. Even with rumors of a bloated $500 million production budget due to reshoots and chaos on set, I mean, cut the crap. The movie earned a lot either way. In 2016, Scarlett appeared in Hail Caesar, before participating in Captain America: Civil War. Although the Coen brothers film was considered a disappointment, it recouped its $22 million budget, earning $63, so everything was still peachy. But then one of the actress's biggest missteps suddenly happened. This misstep was the slow-cooked project Ghost in the Shell in 2017. The effort to adapt the iconic anime into a Hollywood movie had been kicking around since the early 2000s, initially under Disney's umbrella. Eventually, the rights landed with DreamWorks and Paramount, who chose Rupert Sanders, the director of Snow White and the Huntsman, to direct. The casting process for the lead role was lengthy, and Margot Robbie was considered the main contender for a long time. Why she didn't take the role remains a mystery. Some say Sanders was laser-focused on getting Scarlett, while others say Margot backed out herself, not appreciating the masterpiece of Japanese cyberpunk. Either way, Scarlett agreed to participate for $10 million. The project quickly became controversial because of whitewashing the actors. Casting non-Asian actors in roles based on Japanese characters was no longer possible in 2017, and the filmmakers spent hours apologizing to the press. They claimed they accidentally screwed up, were very sorry, and couldn't sleep at nights now realizing what terrible people they were, but there's nothing they can currently do about it. To make matters worse, the test audiences weren't happy with the results at all, so the studio started to mercilessly cut the film, also deleting some scenes to secure a PG-13 rating. This exercise left the final cut at 107 minutes. With a massive $110 million budget, Ghost in the Shell only made $170 worldwide. There are different opinions about why this flop happened. Some big brainers blamed Denis Villeneuve's Blade Runner 2049. They say its advertising campaign was already underway, and the viewers were distracted by it from Johansson. This theory's awesome, especially considering that Blade Runner also failed later on. Around the same time, Scarlett starred in the comedy Rough Night. It wasn't anything huge, but the modest $20 million budget and the box office of $49 meant it wasn't a flop. For Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, the actress reportedly earned $35 million for both films combined, since they were basically one film split into two. Taika Waititi's Jojo Rabbit also performed well at the box office. For it, the actress received an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actress. But that wasn't her only nod that year. She also scored a Best Actress nomination for Marriage Story. This Netflix movie had a limited theatrical release to qualify for awards, as required by the Academy. Despite such a rare double kill, Scarlett walked away empty-handed. Laura Dern won Best Supporting Actress for Marriage Story, as Scarlett's co-star no less. And Renee Zellweger snagged Best Actress for being Judy Garland for a while. Scarlett Johansson's self-proclaimed final appearance in the Marvel Cinematic Universe came with Black Widow in 2021. For her performance, she earned $20 million up front. The film struggled at the box office, pulling in $380 million globally against a budget of $200. Some people blame the pandemic here, given that the film was postponed for a whole year and at the release, people were still reluctant to go to the cinema, still afraid of being coughed on from the neighboring seats. Another reason probably was the double release. Black Widow was also available from the start on Disney Plus streaming, meaning the movie instantly appeared in not too distant corners of the internet. Scarlett immediately took Disney to court, stating this crazy gymnastics hurt the film's box office numbers, slashing her potential bonuses. Disney claimed the actress still received those bonuses, so Scarlett was accused of greed as a terrible mortal sin. Behind closed doors, the matter was finally settled though, with Scarlett receiving $40 million in compensation. Add that to her base salary, and the commercially failed Black Widow brought the actress a nice $60 million overall. You gotta admit, not everyone can turn a flop into a personal jackpot like that. After this, Scarlett took a step back, focusing on voice work for a couple of years. In 2023, she reunited with director Wes Anderson for Asteroid City. Anderson paid Scarlett around $4,000 per week for Asteroid City, so that was definitely a passion project for her. Scarlett's already set to appear in another Anderson film, The Phoenician Scheme, currently in post-production. Her most recent film, Fly Me to the Moon, hit theaters last year. With a $100 million budget, the film was originally meant as an Apple Plus streaming exclusive, but after stellar screen testings, it got a theatrical release, where it earned $42 million. Not exactly a smash hit, but hey, it's an Apple Plus project. They don't really give a damn about the box office. Aside from The Phoenician Scheme, Scarlett's also set to appear in Jurassic World Rebirth alongside Jonathan Bailey, apparently with both studying or stealing dinosaur eggs there or something. As for her Marvel days, Scarlett's held firm that she won't return as Black Widow. Unsurprising, of course, after that legal battle with Disney. So, in general, Scarlett's doing well on all fronts. She skillfully combines producing and acting in award-winning projects and blockbuster hits that rarely flop. Just like Brad Pitt, another unsinkable guy whose unforgiving natures made him unstoppable. Be sure to check it out. Thanks for watching. See ya.